Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a look at a short stack of books, maybe 15 to 20, that I will be sending off to get graded, mostly to CGC here soon. So first off, we have a copy of All-Star Comics number 2. Pretty solid copy of this book. Just has this little tiny corner piece missing there. This cover is actually pieced together from cover art from other books. These different images are from other comics. I forget which ones. I think this might be the first Green Lantern, but still really nice, rare Golden Age book. Picked this up at a convention about a month and a half ago. I've actually seen it at the same convention for the past 2 years, but the value relative to what the price the guy was asking for finally cut up to it in my opinion, so I decided to pull the trigger. I paid around $900 to $1,000 for the book. So, hoping for at least the 3.0 when it comes back. After that, we have a random modern book here. Amazing Spider-Man 361. First Carnage. This is the second printing. But still in 9.6, 9.8 it goes for nearly $100, so I kind of consider that my cutoff for having a book graded, so I might have this one pre-screened for a 9.6 and hope for the best. After that, we have a Batman 222 with the classic Beatles cover, Neil Adams artwork, I believe. This book is kind of an experiment for me. I feel like it's maybe a 7.5 or so. I want to see what CGC says on it. Hoping for, an 8.0 or better, but you never know. Just no real significant damage, just light wear around the corners, the edges. So we'll see what happens. Next up is a very rare book. It's a Centaur, however you pronounce the publisher name. It's Funny Pages from 1938. I forget the exact volume and issue number. Let me just pop it out and we'll take a look real quick. Tape broke. I guess I'll show you guys the arrow while we're at it. This is volume 2, number 10. So first appearance of the Arrow, not Green Arrow as we know him from DC, but the Arrow. Let's see, where's he appear at? I think past it here. It's this storyline right here. There it is. There's the storyline. Let me focus that for you. But yeah, it just appears as a hooded figure in the story titled The Arrow by Paul Gustafsson. And it's just a short little story. He's firing an arrow. And that's about it. But very rare book. Not many copies on the census at all. I know, I think a restored one recently sold for $2,000 or so. Hoping for maybe, well, it's a Golden Age book, so CGC is probably a little bit more lenient. I think CGC would probably give it a 4, 4.5 maybe. My grade's probably a little bit lower, but that's really great book. Excited to find that one. Up next we have a copy of Green Lantern number 36. Not really a classic book, but has a first appearance of one of the DC animals, Shriek the Wonder Dog. So a little bit more valuable. No, I didn't pay $65. I paid a little bit more than that. These are just random Mylars that I'm using to protect these higher value books. So a decent lower grade copy. This one has some slight brittleness along the spine, but other than that, it's a pretty solid copy. Up next, you might have seen it in the corner. Maybe I should push this away a little bit. You guys recognize that? It is an Incredible Hulk number 1. This copy looks pretty nice for a low grade copy. Might present initially like a 2, 2.5. However, it has one major flaw on the interior. Half the front, or half the first page is missing. But other than that, it's a really nice copy. Having troubles with the tape today. Let's see. I know I should take the tape off, but let me just pull this out for you guys. There we go. So, it looks pretty solid. Unfortunately, when you open up the cover, you can see that, well, it's less than half the first page. Maybe a third of it is missing. But other than that, it's pretty solid. I think it's better than a pour, although, I mean, the story is slightly affected. But I want to call it a 1.0 myself. We'll see what happens when it's graded. But was pretty happy to pick that up. At first I was kind of hesitant to make a purchase on it because it was a couple $1,000, but you know, these early Marvel keys, even in super low grade, you kind of just have to tell yourself, you know, the value is going to keep up with them and it's going to continue to go up. So decided to purchase it and haven't regretted it. So after that we have another Hulk, Hulk number 2. First appearance of the Green Hulk. This one's another solid copy. It does have a bit of Marvel chipping along the edge here. I think this book's pretty solid 3.0, maybe 3.5 if I'm lucky. I was a little concerned about this edge though. I'm sort of feeling like there could possibly be some trimming. We'll see what CGC says, but hoping for the best. It doesn't have the exact like razor edge, but it is sort of sharp for the trimming. Just to go into a little more detail about trimming, I'll show you guys a trimmed book in the future. But it's just so weird how part of the edge is super straight, razor straight, and then it goes into the Marvel chipping. Just seems a little bit off to me. Just a couple more words on that book. Up next is another modern book. Picked this one up at a convention recently as well. Looked immaculate to me. 9.6, 9.8 at least, so hopefully it gets a 9.8. I'll probably stick a pre-screen on it for whatever the, you know, $75 to $100 value minimum is for grade. After that, we have another interesting book. Cool little Atlas early Marvel Western book from the 50s. It's Rawhide Kid number 1. I don't think I had ever seen this book before, but I think a 5.0 or 5.5 sold for somewhere around $1,500 in the past year or two. And this one's probably similar to that grade range, so I decided to pick it up. This price tag is accurate, actually. I paid around $500 for it. So we'll see how it comes back. It does have a slight bit of Marvel chipping too, just like the last book we looked at, or the Hulk we looked at. Not as bad though. And you can kind of see what I mean here. The edge is a little bit worn. It's not like super straight before it goes into the chipping, so we'll see. Jumping around again back to the modern age, we have a couple Rick and Morty books. Don't know if I've talked about Rick and Morty before on my channel, but it's one of my all-time favorite TV shows, even though it's just came out a couple years ago. The comic started being published in 2015, and I started watching the show a couple months after the comic came out. And so, of course, when I heard that there was a comic, because I was such a big fan of the TV show, I tried to get as many copies as I could of all the issues. And, you know, I think the first and second printings, this is the first printing of issue 1. This is the second printing. Of course, they were all sold out, and I think they were on their third or fourth printing by the time that I, you know, got into things. But and I'll make a separate video on my Rick and Morty comics. but I bought as many copies of #1 as I could in a couple months. Ordered directly from the publisher, Oni Press, and just did as much scavenging as I could to find first printings and rare issues of the Rick and Morty series, and it's definitely paid off because nowadays 9.6, 9.8 copies of this book go for $200 to $500. So I'll show you another video later, but I've got a whole bunch of these and I'm gonna have a lot of them graded. This is just the second printing there. Up next we have Showcase 13 and Showcase 14. Two nice Silver Age flash books. Both are fairly nice copies. Hoping for at least 6.0s out of both of these. Pretty solid. Just has a light dust shadow on the right side there for issue 13. And here's 14. I have never owned a copy of #4 or #8. They've been a couple Silver Age keys that have eluded me, and those are them. And now that prices have gone so high on #4, I don't know if I'll ever own one, but really happy to own these books. Get them graded and hopefully have some high grades. I remember maybe 7 or 8 years ago I did have a chance to own a full Showcase run that was being auctioned in the Midwest, and at the time the book was not explosive in value like it is now, you know, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 book in low grades. But I think the whole run of Showcase went for only like, you know, $4,000 or $5,000. You know, at the time it was a high price to me, but of course, wish I could go back and get that whole run for that cheap. After that is another modern book. We have Silver Surfer #44. With Thanos on the cover and Drax. I think this is the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. And this is another just stunning book that I found. Found this one, the same guy that I bought the Iron Man 282 from had this book. So I think it's at least a 9.6. Probably get a pre-screen for that. Let's see, we got 2 more books here. We've got a high-grade copy of Strange Adventures #205, First Appearance of Deadman. Now this book is one of those books that a lot of times it kind of gets tan and maybe slightly brittle along the edges. Just the paper quality on this book for some reason is like that. And it's starting to develop a little bit on this book. The back cover has a slight little bit of chip there, and the front cover does. I'm hoping for at least a 6.0 on this one too. Not 100% sure how CGC will treat that slight edge brittleness, but 7.0 would be awesome though. So always a possibility. Last book for today is a Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, 134. First appearance of Darkseid in this book, although he only appears as a small little head in a TV screen, I'm pretty sure. This is a nice copy, probably 7.0, maybe 8.0 at best. But, you know, speculation with Darkseid always out there, so I think this book is still much lower in value than, say, an Iron Man 55. So still has potential for growth in the price range. I know several years ago I stocked up on these, and also Forever People #1s, and it paid off pretty good. So we'll see what happens, but definitely see some more growth potential for the book, and hoping for 7.0 or better on this one. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll try to make a follow-up video to show you guys some of the grades that these books came back as. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.